Hello, this is Professor Nitin Kamath. I am going to present on ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. Well, let us discuss the definition of ERP. What we call Enterprise Resource Planning software is fully integrated business management software. Now, what does that mean? First, the word Enterprise Resource Planning is an integration. What does that mean, integration? Integration means all the data is kept in one place and every information is brought from the integration from that database. So everybody gets derived the information from the same input. So that depending upon output, we can see that output is in line. Now it's a business management software. Business management software. It's a software. Basically, it's like you are aware of Word, Excel, PowerPoint. They are all software for specific purpose. Now here, the business has basically the management, you learn about management, that is, you learn about HR, learn about marketing. That is what is business, which a particular company exists. Now here, it's a business management software. It's a software to manage the business and link the business process automatically. The most important part, it links the business process automatically. Automatically means there is no manual intervention. Now, here when we are developing ERP, we are just processing all the logical sequence in the same way and it is put in the software and give a real-time information to the authorized user. Again, I said automatically and give real-time information. Real-time means just online. What is happening at that same time, that information will be given. You are aware of the point of sale where the stock will be updated online. Something that is called real-time basis and to the authorized user. Now, authorized users are those persons who are given the authority to use that. Those only can use this ERP. For example, we have the keys for the managers. Production manager has got keys. CEO has got keys. The reports generated by production manager can see by the CEO, but not the other way. So authorized user has got the key where he can use and he can see the reports. That is what is called authorized user. Let us go to the next slide where it says the seamless integration. The integration, or say what we are talking in a business, that is what is indicated here. It's like, say, they're all linked up. Like bill of material, accounts, production, all those are linked up with each other. That is the beauty of ERP software. See, once you are entered the bill of material, automatically we can go for this. Production can be linked up, HR can be linked up, all those things can be linked up. That is what is indicated here. It's like, say, they're all linked up. Like bill of material, accounts, production, all those are linked up with each other. That is the beauty of using the ERP, is because of island of information. Now, what do we mean by island of information? Island of information is generally you are aware that you are working in different departments like materials management, sales group, production group, finance group. Now, at the corporate level, they don't know what is happening at these various levels. They don't know what is happening in. See, once you are entered the bill of material, automatically we can go for this. Production can be linked up, HR can be linked up, all those things can be linked up. That is what is called the seamless integration of business process in ERP. Let us go to the next slide. Why ERP? Why we are learning or why we are adopting, why we are using the ERP is because of island of information. Now, what do we mean by island of information? Island of information is generally you are aware that you are working in different departments like materials management, sales group, production group, finance group. Now, at the corporate level, they don't know what is happening here. What we talk about, the ERP links with all these requirements. So let us have the consideration of the manufacturing company. Now think of a manufacturing company where this machine shop, stores, finished goods stores, work order entry, all these departments, they are located in the levels. They don't know what is happening in materials management, sales management, because they are not talking to each other. They are not sharing the common database. That is the reason why we call the Why ERP? Because of the island of information. There should not be any island of information. Information should not be restricted to any particular department. If so, then of course it is not good for the organization. That's why ERP is always say that there is no island of information. All this information is gathered and used by the ERP. Now let us learn about the ERP concept. Basic concept, what we say. We talk about the scope of ERP. Generally, the manufacturing has got raw material, brought out items, consumables, and this in a manufacturing company need not be from one location. Raw material can be procured from one location, it can be procured from other location. Manufacturing is shown on this figure. Now here, what we talk about, the ERP links with all these requirements. So let us have the consideration of the manufacturing company. Now think of a manufacturing company where this machine shop, stores, finished goods stores, work order, entry, all these departments, they are located in the manufacturing company. You can take any typical example, that we are going to take example of computer manufacturing company where all these departments are here. Now as far as only the manufacturing is concerned, we have shown this inventory management, integrated production, order fulfillment, bill of material, integrated accounts. All these are basically the modules which have been developed by the ERP. Now with the help of ERP, we can link up all these stores, machine shop, work order and finance. Also the final instant report also can be created. Let us go to the next slide where the scope of ERP has been explained. Now here, when I talk about the scope of ERP, generally the manufacturing has got raw material, brought out items, consumables, and this in a manufacturing company need not be from one location. Raw material can be procured from one location, it can be procured from other location, manufacturing can be done, consumables can be procured from third party. All these things can be done using this ERP. The scope of ERP is to link up all these applications. So for a global company like IBM, they have got certain manufacturing plant in one country. They can get raw material from other country. They can get the consumers from third country. So all that can be possible with the use of ERP. Let us go to the next slide, where one more slide which explains the scope of ERP software. Like the product 1, product 2, they are manufactured at different locations or same locations. Their customers in India, customer transactions are there. Location 1, location 2, location, so many locations are available. Where these locations, the product can be brought out from this location, this location, this location, can be assembled and sent to the customers. For example, let us take the example of Dell computers. Where Dell computers, they can have the manufacturing plant in one place, and for the monitors one place, the frames one place. They can, when they get the order, they can combine all this with the help of the ERP software. Basically, it forms the global, so that you can, in a one company, you can have like a small units. You can just link up and get the business done with the ERP. Now, having learned about these concepts, now let us see the meeting the business needs. How the ERP meets the business needs. That is what is important, where we have shown ERP and linked up with the vendor, subcontractor, banks, customer, and the transaction flow. Now what does that mean by the transaction flow? Now transaction, the word we uttered, transaction, it means it's a basic building block of any ERP or any MIS information to be produced. Now the transaction, you are aware of the transactions, like when you go to the railway station, you fill up the form and that clerk fill up and give you the ticket. That is a transaction. The transaction happens in the bank. When you go to the bank, you fill up the form and fill up the check, get the money. Generally, that is called the transaction. Now, these transactions can be in hotels, it can be in railways, it can be anywhere. So generally in the service industry also, everywhere you find a transaction. The first building block is the transaction from which the ERP is built up. Now ERP is meeting the needs of customers, vendors, subcontractors and banks. Let us go for the next. This starts from the inquiry. Inquiry, customer inquires about the sales inquiry. So this inquiry will be fed up in a certain input form, and then automatically ERP will send the quotation for this PC. For example, I got a big order of 1000 computers. Now this 1000 computer order will be generally inquiry will be there, then sales quotation will be. We have shown you the case of the manufacturing of the computers. Now here there are some assumptions we have made, like some raw material components are bought out items, then cabinets are manufactured in house, what are the types of machines are used, then extra machines capacity utilized, etc., that is subcontractor. Understand the philosophy of manufacturing. In a company we don't manufacture everything. We have to outsource some of the items so that the cost can be reduced, or we can work out on the cost. Now, so since there is no wave soldering machine, the soldering work is subcontractor. Now for here in this example, the company manufacturing the computer, they manufacture the printed boards, but they don't have the wave soldering machine to make that component. There may be some companies, they don't have fabrication machines for making the frames. So that work has to be subcontracted. So everything has been taken care by this ERP. Let us see how. Now this is a diagram which shows you how the ERP concept or ERP logically we can divide it into the actions. Now here the same company, like ABC company, manufacturing company in the computers, now first receive the sales inquiry for the computers. This starts from the inquiry. Customer inquires about the sales inquiry. So this inquiry will be fed up in a certain input form, and then automatically ERP will send the quotation for this PC. For example, I got a big order of 1000 computers. Now this 1000 computer order will be generally inquiry will be there, then sales quotation will be there. From the sales quotation, the customer will place the order, that is sales order, and once I receive the order, further thing starts. So ERP takes care of all the control right from the beginning, like sales inquiry, immediately the quotation will be given to the customer. When the order is there, the ERP starts working for the dividing. Let us see how. First I'll explain you what is the master. Like ERP is basically stands from this, we call it a customer master. Whatever information is there, that is, these are the basically input forms where the information of the customer is entered. Like say you are aware of this is a snapshot of a ERP, actual ERP which we have developed. Now as a customer CPU code, organization, website, all this information will be there, and the address and all these tabs will be there. Depending upon this, you have to fill up the information, and that becomes your master data. A very important that customer master data, or say product master data, or you can call anything, just change the name. For customer, you can have product data master, or if you are going for institute, you make it student data master, or you can change the way you want the application is the master data you have to enter. Now this is the sequence which shows, we call it the pre-sale module. Like we have developed, we say inquiry, the costing automation is based on BOM master. Now BOM, bill of material, is a very important document. Of course, we are discussing this in detail in the next few slides. Now this costing estimation automation is based on the bill of material. Now bill of material master, again we call it master because all the list of part is listed in this particular table. Now based on this, it prepares the quotation. The costing, unit cost is given in this, and based on this, it prepares the quotation and it sends to the customer. Now same thing, whatever we have seen, the pre-sale module, this is a snapshot of that inquiry module catched up from the customer. Customer may want those details of the customers have been entered. The inquiry type, from the inquiries from the mail or from the telephone, all those things can be automatically entered in this, and this forms the inquiry master. Now the important concept which we are discussing about bill of material, or we call it BOM, that has been shown. It's a simple list of part. Although it looks simple, but it has got a lot of things. It has got, say suppose for example, part number, assembly number. Part number may be, suppose you are talking about the register, the register part number, on which assembly it goes. That part number, that register goes on PCB assembly, that part number will be there. Or it goes on power supply, that number will be given over here. The description of that particular register, then the label. Now what is the label? Before that, I'll come to the source code. The most important part in the bill of material is the source code. Now what is source code? The source code is from where that particular part is procured. Now when I say that particular part is procured, now this is having say source code 1, 2, 3, 4. Say for example source code 1, I said import. I am importing that part, that's why I said source code 1. If I am purchasing that part, I will say that source code 2. If I am making or manufacturing that part in house, I will say that it's source code 3. If I am outsourcing that part and subcontracting that part with my material, I will say that it's a source code 4. Just so on, it goes on so on. So the coding will be based on whether I am importing, whether I am purchasing, or whether I am making in house or subcontracting. Then the level. Now what is the level? Level is the top assembly we call as the top level or level 19. Maybe computer assembly, final assembly we call as level 19. Now the assembly, PCB assembly goes into that for the semi-finished assembly. Let us start from the finished good. Now finished good is what? My computer. Now this finished good consists of the semi-finished assembly. That is, it has the box, it has the PCB, and it has got the various components. Like say raw material 1, raw material 2 will be a lower level, that is level 18. Or say power supply going into that is level 18. Now resistors or say ICs, integrated circuits or Intel chips, etc. are going on PCB assembly, that is level 17. If the part is there, that is 07. Likewise, the levels are defined. I will show you the next slide how the levels will be there. Now unit rate and source quantity is also mentioned in the bill of material. So basically bill of material is a list of part which is a very effective planning document, and that is used for procuring all this, and once the bill of material is ready, you can either make it as an assembly wise bill of material, or you can sort it as per the part number wise, you can sort it as a level wise, you can sort it as source code wise. The main now IC processor, PCB, small PCB, the costing also it is given over here. The labor, the cost of the material and the cost of the labor is totally combined, and then you can come to the next assembly. It is this assembly will be assembled into CPU case. Making the bill of material is making the source code wise. Suppose the source code wise I want to see all imported components. Then I can see that okay, source code 1 I can list as per source code 1, and I can get that order made. That is what is purpose of bill of material. For example, source code 3 means I am going to manufacture these parts, and same logic is used in ERP. ERP doesn't do anything on its own. It follows the same logic which we have defined. The code which we have defined, the same logic ERP is using. Let us see how. See, I have given a pictorial view of this. The example which I am quoting is basically the computer manufacturer, where the concept of bill of material is elaborated. Let us see, this is a subcontractor work. Subcontracting work is the semi-finished assembly. Let us start from the finished good. Now finished good is what? My computer. Now this finished good consists of the semi-finished assembly. That is, it has the box, it has the PCB, and it has got the various components. Like say raw material 1, raw material 2. Those raw materials, what are those raw materials? Those may be hard disk, floppy disk or CD drives. All that can be directly going to this assembly. Now the level of this will be 19. Now the parts which go, this is 18. Now the parts which goes into this is 08. The parts which go into this is 16. Likewise, the levels will be mentioned on bill of material. Now next, subcontractor. This part is PCB assembly. Maybe you can make it with a subcontractor because you don't have a sorting machine. This framework is made in the shop floor, that is source code 3, this is source code 4. Let us see in the detail about this. So this basically is a PCB assembly, we call it motherboard. Now IC processor, PCB, small PCB, the costing also it is given over here. The labor, the cost of the material and the cost of the labor is totally combined, and then you can come to the next assembly. It is this assembly will be assembled into CPU case. Now this basically is we are going to get it from the subcontractor. We are getting from the subcontractor. Here the machine shop, we are going to manufacture the frames. Now frames will be manufactured. Then what are the processes involved in this? Sheet, cutting, bending, cabinet. So each process has been mapped properly in this bill of material, where the costing is taken care of this. This source code 3, source code 4, they go together to make a CPU base. Now we are adding the SMPS, hard disk, FDD, mouse, keyboard, all this they directly go on this CPU base to make the final assembly. Costing is also shown over here. So the unit rate, basically the labor rate and the material rate. Both of these can be made together and overheads are added to make the final cost. Generally, the bill of material master, as we are talking the snapshot, it will look like this. In a computer based, we are having this type of picture, or we can say that this is a video of the actual snapshots. Now here the bill of material is pivot around which ERP rotates. Exactly what is, everything has been dependent on the bill of material. ERP rotates, that ERP uses all this from the, say for example, I'll just go back to the previous slide where we were looking for the sales. Now here we get the sales order. We get the sales order here. Then the order is divided as per the ERP code.